Hi, everyone. So it's funny coming after this. That moment was beautiful. I am Dara Greenwald, and I work in very lo-fi kind of production values, so you'll see that. I was blessed to come to art and cultural production through punk and feminism, both social, cultural movements. Punk advocating doing it yourself meant doing it with others, not waiting for permission or validation, creating your own venues, distribution networks, economies, and communities, and later through feminism, which taught me the personal is political and the political is collective. I stand before you today as one of the over 10% of New Yorkers who are unemployed, who have little to no income coming in. Only together can we solve this crisis we are in, a crisis of not the recession, but of an unsustainable economic system. Many of us feel the acute alienation from the exploitative and hierarchical economic system that we sometimes call capitalism. We can feel it in the art world, we can feel it in this room. It is the water we swim in, even here, in this room, the socially engaged art factory that many of us work extremely long hours for little to no pay. And so that's kind of the social conditions I'm coming to you with today. Someone said I should make my own oppression visible. It's a collective oppression, of course. But the work that we do, and we is many people in this room I work with, have worked with, is to make resistance visible, to make resistance and to make it visible, rather at which obviously there's oppression and there's resistance. And I'm just gonna go through projects very quickly with webs links, so you can see all the projects. We document them very well, they're archived well, so I'm putting links and I'm not even gonna talk about them. Basically, very quickly, this was a radical feminist street dance troupe that was committed to challenging the white supremacist capitalist patriarchy one street dance party at a time. It was in Chicago, and the website's well archived. I work in video as well. This video is about the squatting social movement in Barcelona, and you can just watch it on my website. This wasn't expanded, oops. And then in Troy, New York, we've been doing a lot, we were doing a lot of projects looking at the history of militant organizing against labor exploitation, from the creation of unions to the abolition of slavery, to the teacher strike in Oaxaca even, and trying to connect these things. Also, these are all documented. All of these projects were done in outdoor spaces without official permission or any funding outside of our pockets. Once we started looking closely, we found that there was quite an amazing militant history in Troy that was not at all visible in public space. For example, Henry Highland Garnett. This project's called Spectres of Liberty. And hopefully this video will play. Oh, can you turn the sound down? I'm just going to talk over it. So Henry Highland Garnett and friends, they drafted a speech calling on slaves to rise up. And it was considered too militant by Frederick Douglass and others. And so 5 years later, many in the movement asked him to publish it. We animated the building. It was an inflatable we created. And his words that resonate with our present conditions. And we had a lot of people come out to see that piece. That's also online. Some of the kind of economies that we're working with, I'm sorry that's not full. People tell me that they often don't know how to connect with culture and social movements, and I just want to point you to this blog that I'm part of. It's called justseeds.org. There's stickers over on the table. And it's posts every day about different things happening in terms of culture and social movement. Okay, back to these histories. Josh McPhee and I, we've been creating a collection of materials which we sometimes display. Last year, with our collection and over 80 other lenders' collections, we curated an exhibition called Signs of Change. It opened at Exit Art, and I'm going to just play it going through the entire exhibition while I'm talking, but I'm not talking about it really. Besides that, it's opening in Portland, Oregon, February 4th at the Feldman Gallery, and it contains over 1,000 items from 40 countries in 50 years, from social movements. Again, we're trying to make resistance visible and make it present So the way we work is not just a nostalgia for history or a safe distance from radical ideas, but keeping abreast of and acting in solidarity with current movements internationally, from the home, school, and factory occupations to efforts for the commons, to the World Social Forums, to the local issues of repression of free speech and the continued use of the war on terror rhetoric to repress radical and critical expression. We must move beyond using movements as our content providers and beyond having movements place artists in the role of interior decorators or entertainers, while at the same time working to transform the role of the artist as an underpaid content provider for the cultural industries and art world in exchange for a recognition that cannot feed or house us. What would it look like to common our cultural capital? What might a new relationship between art and social change look like, where there is a co-production and co-participation in new social relations? How much time do I have? Okay. I wanted to, because this panel was originally talking about political persecution, I thought I would connect it to something happening here right now. So oh wow, 1 minute, great. Part of being an engaged cultural worker is paying attention to movements and the repression of movements. This is what I've learned through these excavations of history, from the censoring of Henry Highland Garnett's words in the 1840s, to COINTELPRO in the 60s, to the current repression that activists have labeled the Green Scare and the War on Dissent. Regardless of if one agrees with tactics of groups, it is important to pay attention to the way the state deals with people who are critical both of it and capitalism, who are coming from a left perspective. Since 2005, the FBI's #1 domestic terrorist threat remain environmental and animal rights activists. Partially because of industry lobbying, these activists are listed as more of a threat than violent far-right extremists such as neo-Nazis and the organized anti-abortion movement, who've actually killed people. And so I'm trying to go so fast, so I just want to end, talking about solidarities with an act of solidarity, just to share with you how some people in Queens who are facing political persecution for their left politics and participation in protests. As we can see in this country, when you're critical of the government from the right, you get a mainstream TV show. Oh, shoot. This house, these people, had all of their artwork taken and seized by the FBI, as well as their passports, their computers, their books, and the police